Hi everybody, it's Carol with Refunction Crafts, and today I am bringing you the easiest, fastest flowers that you can make in just really a very short time that turn out this beautiful, and no glue unless you want to put the edges together, which I did. I put a dot there and a dot on this side just to put those edges together so that it stayed nice and perfectly round, but you don't have to do that. But anyway, this only took me minutes, you guys, literally minutes to make this morning. So we're going to make a couple of these, and I'm going to show you just how easy it is. And all you need is, this is some, I don't know what you even call this because the name of it was not on it, but this is a super sheer, like organza mesh kind of a fabric. It's stretchy, and it is, I got this big piece of this from my friend Robin, and I also got this color. Let me open this one. And I think it's the same. This might be a little different. Actually, this is a little different. This is stiffer, but it's pretty much kind of the same stuff. This is not stretchy. Well, it stretches in one direction. So yeah, I think this is pretty much the same thing, only it's definitely stiffer than the pink is, but we're gonna try it in both. I've only made a pink one so far. I haven't cut anything off this ivory colored fabric, but I want to try that today. So today we're gonna do two flowers, and again, all you need is the fabric. You need something simple to tie around the flower to hold it together. So I've just taken three little pieces. It was a wide lace. I just cut it into three pieces, and I've got three pieces of that sitting aside here. And something to put in the center, doesn't matter what it is. You guys don't need anything fancy for this. You can turn something into fancy with unfancy really easy, you guys. So these are just basic little bits that I had sitting around that I got in mostly Happy Mail from some of my wonderful subscribers, and they're awesome to be able to use in these projects. So I think I got this one, I think I got from Rebecca. These I got from Robin. Actually, I got some of these from Becca too, I think. And then these little centers as well. And these just came off of, no, actually Sherry sent me some of these by themselves, and I do have some appliques that have these little flowers in them too that I cut off every now and then to place in something that I'm making. So anyway, I'm just looking here to see if I have any other little bits that might, but you guys, honest to goodness, you don't have to have anything fancy. That would be pretty in that ivory color. You just need to have an imagination and put some stuff together, and you'll have a beautiful, beautiful flower. So let's put those aside. You need your pair of scissors, and then I just took out some little bits of lace and just to show you some other things you can do with it. This is a little piece of sage fabric, and believe it or not, we're going to just turn this into a leaf. So easy peasy, you guys. So let's read our quote for the day. I decided to go with something happy today. Silly, goofy, whatever. Nothing too hardcore. So what I did was I found a site that offers, let's see, 32 funny life quotes to make you smile. So that sounded great to me. So the first one that I came right upon, and man, does it ring true for most of us. Nothing sucks more than that moment during an argument when you realize you're wrong. Isn't that true, you guys? And most people would say, well, I'm almost never wrong, but when we are, it's, yeah, I can be wrong quite often, but I will admit to it. And here's another really great one for me, and this is super true of me because I overthink everything, but this says, hold on, I've got to overthink about that. Or I'm sorry, hold on, I've got to overthink about it. I overthink everything. Being an adult is like folding a fitted sheet. No one really knows how. Guess what, guys? I know how to fold a fitted sheet. I learned it a long time ago from my mother, and I never lost that skill. And because my sister didn't learn it from my mom, I taught my sister, and now my sister folds her sheets the same way. We should probably have a tutorial on that, right? How to fold a fitted sheet. Okay, so you guys, let's get busy here. Let's get started and make our first flower. And so I'm just going to show you, I've already got this pink kind of out and about, and I really should have cut a piece off of this already because this is not the kind of thing you can tear, you guys. You literally have to cut it. So I'm going to fold this a couple of times so that I can cut it kind of all together because it's so thin and so sheer that you can cut it in a folded piece and you're gonna work out just great. So, and you're not gonna have to do that long cut and worry about your edges not matching up and all that stuff. So yeah, so I'm just gonna fold it up just like this. And it doesn't have to be perfect on the edge, you guys. Don't worry so much about perfection. We are none of us perfect. Okay, so I've just got it all folded like that. I'm going to make it about 3.5 to 4 inches wide. So I'm just going to take this and I'm going to cut it right here all the way across. I'm sorry, my scissors are getting caught in it just a tad. So there we go. We've got our piece cut. And while we're at it, we might as well go ahead and cut our ivory piece. Okay, so we've got our strips cut. This one had a nice long length, and I could have done this in a long length too, but I didn't. I did it in 2 strips, but I did cut the cream colored as well. See, you can see this is shinier than the pink, and I'm not sure how this is going to turn out, if I'm being honest, you guys, because the texture's different, everything's different about it. While this is super soft and almost kind of slippery like, but I really like it. It's very, very soft. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our strip here, and just like the other ones that I recently did a video on, we're just going to fold this in about 2-inch pieces, 2 inches this way. And I'm just going to do this all the way down, and I'm going to get caught up in everything that's sitting underneath it here. But we're gonna try and keep it together, so try and fold it as tightly as you can, but it's not gonna matter, you guys, if it's not perfect. We are not looking for perfection here. You can see even my strip here is not perfectly cut. That's okay. I'm not worried about that. Because on this you can see I have different lengths, because we're going to do something at the end that is going to make everything fall right into place and look amazing. So don't worry about this part so much. And again, this is about a 2-inch fold. And we're just going to keep on going all the way down. And this feels really thick here. It's very slippery though, you guys. You can see how that slips? I mean, it's slippery. So you really have to keep a good grip on it. when you're folding it. And I'm going to find out, like I said, this fabric did not say exactly what it was. It was sent to me in Happy Mail, but I'm going to find some. I'll either find some at, say, Joann's, or maybe online on Amazon to see what exactly it's called. I'd like to go to Joann's because then I can kind of feel the fabrics and know that, you know, whether it's the stiffer or the softer stuff. We already know the soft stuff works nice. And if you know what this is, you guys, please, please, please put it in the comments and let me know exactly what this fabric is called, so that I can order it a little easier if I decide to order on Amazon. But also, if you know the difference between the stiffer fabric, is it just because of the color and the thread is different, or the, you know, whatever it might be. Okay, so here we have, this is actually about 3 inches, you guys. I think I said 2, or no, what am I saying? It's 3 inches. One, you know what? Hold on. Let's get our ruler. I want to tell you exactly. This is 4 inches wide. See, I'm glad I did that. And it is 2 inches across. So the fold was 2 inches. The width is 4 inches. So double what the fold is. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my corners, get a good pair of scissors, but look how easy that cut, you guys. It cuts super easy, even though this is super thick. It just cuts real easy. Now, I know if you have, you know, a really bad pair of scissors, it might be a little harder to cut through, but I honestly think even with a not perfect pair of scissors, you can get through this pretty easily. And I'm just cutting these corners off first. Just like that. So we have an oval. Let's get rid of those pieces. And then I'm going to do just like I did on the other ones that we melted. But see, we don't even need fire this time, you guys. Haha. So we even removed that step from these. And I'm just cutting a slit, probably about 1/2 inch. Just so that we have, like, in between these two, we have about 3/4 inch. We want to have at least that 3/4 inch to sort of play with on this. Okay, so there we go. And it is looking good. So now I'm going to move this flower and put it just right up in my little box there. And I'm going to set these little laces aside for just a moment. But what I am going to do is I'm going to keep my little lace ties, whoops, right here at my fingertips, right with those. Okay, so now we're going to take this, and you can see it's got all these little sections all the way down. Okay, super easy. Well, on the other ones, if you'll remember, I took a bobby pin and I just put it all together using that bobby pin. Well, on this, I found that I really didn't need the bobby pin because I just kind of took it, and it's kind of hard on this silicone. I did it on a table the last time I did it, but that's okay. And can you guys see this? I think you can see it. You know what? Let's take this silicone off. And I think the white doesn't work better. Here we go. Here we go again, you guys. I'm going to change things up just a little bit here. I'm going to put these aside. Right over here. and see if I can pop this off. I'm just going to fold it over, and then I'll pull it back over once I get done with this. Maybe you can see that a little bit better on that blue. I'm not sure. It may not be different at all. It doesn't look much different on my camera, so I don't know, you guys, but we're just going to do this. I think you can pretty much see what I'm doing, and I'm trying to keep my scrunches side by side and not let them get all on top of each other, even though in the end, if that happens a little bit, you're okay. Don't worry about it, because I know it did happen a little bit with my other flower, but as you could see, the flower still came out gorgeous, and I didn't have any trouble with getting, you know, just pulling and tugging and getting everything the way that I wanted it and in the places I wanted it. So it was no big deal. So we're going to use this whole piece here for this flower. Now you could take this and you could probably, I could probably make a couple of flowers out of this one piece. But I want to do a nice fluffy flower. And so I am using all of it. I'm just kind of turning this, flipping this over as I go because it gets turned around on you. Okay. So funny. The mail carrier is here, and she walks by my craft room window, and I promise you, every day she is on the phone talking to friends while she's doing her route. I don't think she ever gets off that phone. Let me see. Where did my scissors go? I'm seeing I've got a couple of little bits and pieces here that I just want to get off now while I'm seeing them. There's other pieces that I kind of missed, but that's okay. Those will get trimmed off at the end. See, we've got a piece right here. No big deal. We'll just leave that on there. Okay, so here I've got it. Almost like making a pom-pom, you guys. So I've got it all scrunched together in the middle. I'm going to grab one of my lace pieces, lace trim pieces, and I'm going to wrap it around the center here, just like we did on the ones that we used the bobby pins on. And I'm just going to hold it down as best I can. And give it a little tug. I'm not going to pull it too tight yet because I'm going to make sure I kind of have that close to the center. And that looks pretty good to me. So now I'm going to pull it really tight as I can. And tie it in a knot. And then just for good measure, I like to tie a third one. So there we go, you guys. That's what we have. So it looks like a pretty, pretty bow, fluffy bow. Just leave your strings on. You know, you can cut those off later if you want to. You don't have to cut them off. You can. You don't have to. It's just up to you. And then I'm just sort of fluffing it up here, just like that. And then I'm going to take my scissors and just kind of go along. And I'm going, you can see I'm kind of going at an angle on the upper bits. And then I'll kind of go along the edges here. I don't want any real square edges on this. But I do like the jagged edges, so. And so, there, I can hold on to that a little bit better that way. Just hang on to that little string. So you guys, I wanted to ask you all to all my prayer warriors out there, my friend Sherry is having a procedure, and I would like for you all to be praying for her to have, so that God's hands are helping those doctors, guiding those doctors to do well for her. And this is about pain for her, so she's really, really hoping and praying. She's been in a lot of pain lately, you guys. Just a tremendous amount of pain. And she really needs our thoughts and our prayers to be with her while she's going through this, because she really, really has been suffering a lot. And also, if I could get you guys to pray for my friend Linda. My friend Linda and her husband both have been going through some really her husband has terrible, terrible stomach cancer, and they have both been suffering for years. Linda has several breaks in her neck and suffers with this same kind of pain that Sherry does, and has been for years. While Linda, she can barely get out of bed anymore, and she gets these, on top of all of that, she gets these terrible, terrible, terrible migraines, and they just take her down completely. So there we go, you guys. But if you would, my friend Linda and my friend Sherry and everybody else who's watching, if you're going through anything that's difficult, I would like to let you know that my prayers are with you, and I do pray for my followers and really pretty much anybody out there in the world that is suffering. I don't want to see anybody suffer, ever. We just got news today that a friend of ours has stage 4 pancreatic cancer. So yeah, it's devastating news. We haven't seen him in a little while, and he had cancer before. I'm sorry, prostate cancer, and he had it before, and they were able to put him in remission, and this was at least 10 years ago, about. And it came back, and it came back with a vengeance. So now he's quite ill, and we're just really, really sad. My husband's really sad. This is a very dear friend of his that he worked with for many, many, many years as an electrician. And so it's just really devastating. I know a lot of you are around my age, some younger, some older, but you know, as we start to age, we start to know more and more people that get all of these terrible diseases and cancers and things like that. And it's just so hard to hear about it. I actually had paused my camera when my husband came home, because I could tell he was coming in here, and he managed to tell me that he had received a phone call from his friend. It was actually a return call, because Jeff had tried to get a hold of him. Anyway, he got a phone call from him, and he said, well, friend, he said, I just need to let you know I've got stage 4 cancer, and I'm on hospice. And I'd love to see you and Carol, so if you can make it out, please do. And so, needless to say, of course we will be out there to see him. We just need to get it set up, and he asked if we could go to dinner, and I don't think he's at a place where he can go out to dinner. But, you know, there are, you know, times when you do have a hospice patient that's got stage 4 cancer that can actually go out to dinner. So they can actually eat. Not a lot of them, but there are many of them that can still eat and enjoy life a little bit before it's all said and done. So that, I hope he can eat. I hope we can go to dinner. We used to like to go to the airport that's nearby here. It's a little private airport, and they have a restaurant. And so he loves to go there and watch the airplanes and stuff. So we would probably go there and enjoy a nice dinner with him and his wife. Okay, so we've got this one done. Flower ready, all floofy. Isn't that gorgeous, you guys? And then just to kind of show you some of the things you could do, this is a bow. Look at how cute that looks. Super cute in the middle of that. You could use a piece of a lace flower that you've taken off of. This came off of this lace right here. Or I could take any of these, really. I could take this flower and put it in there. Or, let's see, this little flower. So you can pretty much take any flower. Here's one of these. Look at how beautiful that looks. Isn't it gorgeous? Or you can take one of your flat bottom bling pieces. So this is really pretty. One of my friends sent me these in Happy Mail. This is gorgeous, and I think this is probably the one I'm going to use on this particular flower. But you could even take a different color and offset it. You know, that's a purple flower, and that even looks pretty on there. Or if you want to add some teal to it. This is a little bit bigger, but it works with these flowers. And then here's another little acrylic flower. And then I have my porcelain roses. I just love these so much. My friend Robin sent me 3 packages of these. And that is what I used in the center of the first one that I did here. And I think that looks absolutely gorgeous. And then this is just a little flower that came off of a, that my friend Sherry sent me. She sent me some of these in different colors. I like that as well. But we are going to use this one in this flower today. I think this is just beautiful. So, and it fits this flower so nicely. And we're just going to pop that right down in the center. Press it down a little bit. And then we'll just kind of bring these edges right up around there and fluff it up. And there we have a really gorgeous, gorgeous little shabby chic flower. Now, what we can do to add to this is we could take a little piece of lace or an applique that's got some extended pieces, add that underneath it. And you can dress it up that way. Here's another piece of a piece of lace. So we could take a section of that and just sort of have that coming off of it in a pretty way. Or I've got this piece, and this is really not the right color, but any kind of lace that has like leafy things coming off of it. Look how beautiful that looks. And then this is that little piece of chiffon that I had already cut, and I had melted this when I was making my other flowers. You could take that, and it's just cut in a little oval, and you can take it and put it on the edge here, fold it in half, put it on the edge, and it looks like a couple of little leaves coming off the edge of it. I feel like this one's kind of not long enough though. I do have a piece of chiffon here. Let's see if we can take this and cut a little piece off real quick. And this is kind of a thicker chiffon. I'm not, you know, the other day I honestly could not find the same chiffon that Sherry had sent me before, and it was from Joann's, the stuff that she sent me. This piece has got those little dots in it, and I don't want that on this, so I'm gonna take and move over just a tad and cut a new piece off. Kind of hate doing this, but I'm going to. For the sake of the video, we're going to do this. And then, so I have a nice little piece, and this piece is about 4.5 inches by 2.5 inches. And I'm going to take it, I'm going to fold it in half like this, and I'm going to round my corners. Just like that. I don't know if you guys can hear my stomach growling, but it's growling like crazy. And I'm just going to kind of hold this. I have my torch here. I'm going to turn it down just a tad because I don't want it to be too heavy. And I'm just going to singe the edges of this. And you can see it curling under. And I'm going to kind of go all the way around this. There we go. And we just have a little rounded piece. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it and just kind of scrunch it in the middle. And you could take it and you could tie it off in the middle. In fact, let's do that just for the sake of making this a little more simplified. I'm going to take this and go from the top down to the bottom. Tie this in a knot and try and keep it in the center if you can. It's okay if it's not dead center because leaves are not exactly the same size, so that's all right. But I'm going to try and get as close as I can, and that's good enough for me. Okay, so let's tie a knot in that. And I am going to actually cut that off, just like that. And so there, now we have our leaves, and all I'm going to do is take it to a V. I'm going to put some glue right here, and I'm going to pop those two pieces together and hold them for a second. I'm going to hold it down because I've got this silicone mat and I'm not even using it, and it will not stick to that. Why burn my fingers when I have a mat? And there. Now I'm going to be able to stick that right under there, and look at how beautiful that looks. It's just a little bit of a leaf popping out from the edge. That's it. Put a little bit of glue on the back side. And there we have it. And I'm going to press that down. Just like that. And I love that. I just think that looks so beautiful and so simple and so just shabby chic, and it's just gorgeous. It's gorgeous. And what I might do, just to kind of narrow out the leaf a little bit, I'll put a little bit of glue there and maybe squeeze these pieces together a little bit more, sort of in the middle, just to thin out the leaves a little bit so they're not so thick. And there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take a piece of felt, and I had my felt out here just yesterday to cut a piece off. What did I do with it? That's okay because I have more sitting right. Oh, I think I put it back in the box. I did. There it is. So we're going to make a circle. We're just going to go ahead and we're going to finish this one right down to the end. So let's just cut a little circle out here that's big enough to cover the center of this flower. Not too huge, but big enough. I was just cutting off some of the edges that were a little misshapen. We'll cut that off now and take this so that it covers both the leaf and the flower. And we're just going to put glue around the entire edge and the center very nicely. Pop that down. And this is a stiff felt, you guys. Very, very stiff. My friend Robin also sent me that. She sent me some in a couple of colors, and I'm using that like crazy, Robin. Thank you, thank you. That was so nice of you to think of that. Because felt is one of the things that I never think to buy until I need to use it. And then I go, oh shoot, I meant to buy that. But there we go. We have that one. And we have that one, and I really feel like, well, I'm not going to do it right now. So anyway, there's one with a leaf, one without a leaf, and they're both gorgeous. So let's see what we can do with this ivory. I'm dying to try it. So let's see what happens when we take this, and I'm going to cut these separately. Let me just even them up on the edges a little bit. It's about the same size. Size is not that important, you guys. And this cuts super easy, just like paper, really. Okay. And then we'll get this side. It actually feels like when you cut a little section of your hair with the scissors, it just cuts right through there. Okay, I'm gonna hold that together, even though I don't really have to. It doesn't need to be held together, but I'm just gonna put that aside. Take this one and do the same thing. And the reason I've got two of these is because I didn't cut one that was as long as that other one. And you can see that the fact that I used all of that on the pink just shows that, I'm sorry, it just shows that you can use quite a lot for one flower, or you can use less. Absolutely, you can use less, but I wanted some really fluffy flowers, so I went with the more approach. And I'm going to cut the insides on the edges, just like that. And that one I'm going to let go, and I'm glad I kept this one together because I did not do that on this first one. So let's cut those inside pieces. Turn it and cut the other side. And you want to have at least 3/4 of an inch in this center when it's all said and done. And I'm going to cut off this little tiny skinny strip here because I don't need it. And let's see, have a little skinny strip on this one too. I figured I would. I've had it on all of them. And then we'll get rid of all these little bits and pieces here. Throw them in the trash. Let me go get my brush so that I can clean this off. Okay, so now let's put those in my box there. And I'm just going to push those aside. And these I'm going to put together because this feels really thinner than the other stuff. So I'm gonna leave my silicone down, and I'm certain that you guys can barely see this, but there's the shadowing from this piece of, I'm gonna call this organza. It feels more like organza than chiffon. I'm just gonna pull it together like this. Hopefully I can keep it together. And you guys, you could still use your bobby pin. I just felt like this fabric might be too slippery for the bobby pin and that it might not hold. I didn't even try it, if I'm being honest. I didn't even try it with a bobby pin. I just thought, I can do this with my fingers. Because I just assumed from the get-go that the bobby pin wasn't going to work. Or wasn't going to work easily, I should say. And when I get to the end of this one, I'm going to see how I feel about the fullness of this flower. Okay. It actually looks like it's pretty good, but I still feel like I do definitely want it fuller than it is. So we're going to go ahead and go for it and use the other piece as well. So I'm just going to keep on scrunching it right down that middle section, and I'm holding it in here and scrunching it with my thumb and my pointer finger, my index finger. So this is working pretty well for me so far. And I have my little piece of lace right there to tie it off with. But you guys can see how easy this is, and it's so nice because you don't have to have the glue. If you don't have a glue gun, you don't have to have one. You can do this without gluing those ends together, and you can get it to all pull together. It just is easier for me to take my glue gun, tap those two pieces together, and be done with it. But you don't have to have that. I think it's a if you want to, you can kind of thing. Okay, so now I'm going to take my piece of lace here. I think this was a cut off from one of the other ones because it feels like it's shorter than the other ones were. Okay, let me get a hold of it. Okay, got it. Ooh, you know what? I have this. I think we're going to use this. This came off of something else. And I think this is going to work a little bit better for me. I'm going to be able to grab hold of it. This fabric here is so slippery. Even more so than the pink. I just want to get this first pull from the tie. And I'm not pulling it super tight yet because I want to get it where I feel like it's in the middle. Yeah, this is quite a bit stiffer. I'm kind of anxious to see how this is going to come out versus the pink. It's definitely going to be different. I can tell already. Now, the looks may not be different. It may look the same in the end. I'm hoping it does. Now I've got that tied really super tight. I pulled it as hard as I could in the center, and you can see even that tie is thicker. It's like, because this is stiffer, the center is thicker. So let's see how this is going to work, you guys. This may not work. This may not be a good thing. This might work better as just like a filler, like a top piece. Small ones made out of it, like little tiny pom-poms for a top piece. We'll see. But I'm going to try and make this into a big flower. I really want this to work. I'm just trying to find like where these pieces are on the other side so I can pull them through. Because I can see it's just kind of uneven in certain places. And that will make the difference if I get those uneven pieces pulled through in the right spots. It will make all the difference in the world in how this looks in the long run. Now see, I pulled this one piece through and I'm not finding it, this piece here, and it's coming apart. So that first try was a fail. So, okie dokie pokey. That's frustrating. Let's try this again. Maybe we should just make 2 little flowers out of this. I'm starting to think maybe it's just too much. Okay, so we're going to do that. Now we're going to make a little flower out of this piece. I can hold on to it better. I'll use this little piece of lace to tie it. Let's see if I can hold it down. Get it centered. Yeah, you can see this is like way off center. This might be pretty too to make some butterflies out of, I'm thinking. It looks like it would make a really beautiful butterfly. Same with the pink. Okay, I think that should be okay for now. Let's tie it off. Okay. And we only really have a couple of spots here where I need to find the opposite end and pull it through. Not there. I'm trying to find where this one comes through on this side, and it looks like it's right about there. So this one feels like, to me, you definitely have to play with it a little bit more. But you have to be careful how hard you pull it, because it wants to slide through. If you pull too hard, it wants to slide all the way through, which we don't want. So, okay, so I think I've got that sort of okay for now. I'm going to start doing some trimming. And trimming is what makes these really come together. And what you could do is you could take this piece, get it all done, Get it all prepared. Trim it a little bit, but don't go too much into the top. Leave it a little bit longer. And we're going to make a smaller one out of the other side. So we're going to put two together. And that might work better for this particular fabric, because that is really quite pretty. I like the shimmer in this, and I like the color, but it needs a little more fullness. So let's take this other piece and we're just going to pull it together. I'm going to make this easy on myself. I'm going to go ahead and pull it together, just the size that it is. And I'm going to keep it just as thick as the other one is. But we're going to cut this one down more. We're going to make this the center, the top center of the flower. Okay. Oops. Okay, well, I guess we're going to use this lace stuff. Tie it off. See, we've got it pulling way over to the side in one section of this. If I don't find that right point to pull through, there we go, I found it. Very good. Okay. Now let's tighten this real well. Okay, so there's that one. And I am going to cut this off so that I can work with this a little bit better. Okay, so here's our other piece. Let's pull these all apart and get them all messy. Look at them and see which one would be better for the top and which is better for the bottom. And then we'll start cutting on the other one. I will definitely say, if you're going to buy any of this fabric, buy the softer, stretchier one. That, just right off the bat, for me, is a big deal. Because this is just much, much, much more difficult to work with. But I am at least sort of finding the pieces that I need to pull through. Okay. I think I want to keep that on the bottom. So we're just going to start clipping away on this one that we just did. And we're going to cut it in around the edges. And there's no real science to this, just kind of figure out how wide you want it to look. I'm used to doing this kind of thing because I cut my own hair and do all that stuff myself, so I do this kind of cutting on my own hair, believe it or not. Scary, isn't it? But you know what? I like my haircuts. I think it turns out just fine. And it's not going to a hairdresser where when I tell them what to do, they do it wrong every single time. So that's what happened to me. I got tired. I found a couple, don't get me wrong, they're not all bad. A lot of hairdressers are amazing, amazing people. My mother-in-law, who passed away, was an amazing cosmetologist. When I would tell her to cut my hair, she would cut it exactly. What I asked her to do is what she would do. She wasn't afraid. What I find is a lot of them are afraid they're going to mess up, so they don't really do what you tell them to do. They do what they think they should do, and they don't always understand. Usually your customer that's telling you something like that knows what they're talking about. They know their hair. They know what it will and won't do. And so you just need to listen to them, you know. You just need to listen to what they're asking you to do, and you're probably going to have a customer for life. But if you don't do that, they're probably going to come and go, and you're not going to get a whole lot of customers that are going to stick around. It's just, that's the way it is. My first mother-in-law was also a cosmetologist, but she was of the first type, and she was always so worried that I was going to be wrong about what I was asking for that she would almost never cut my hair the way I asked. And I finally got to a point where it was like, I would rarely go to her. I would go to her when I felt like I had to, when I felt like she was starting to notice that I wasn't calling and asking. I did used to love to go to her shop and just sit around and chat with her and, you know, have the girl time. I loved it so much. I just wished she would have been more willing to do what I would ask her to do. Now, it was okay. That was back in the days when perms were a thing. And she would perm my hair, and I was okay with that. She never messed up a perm. She always did those fine. You know, it was this thing of the times. So I never had a problem with that, but it was just the cutting. Some hairdressers, I think they should do only certain aspects. Some should be the hair cutters, you know, the hair stylists and the cutters, and some should be just color and, you know, the chemical based stuff, the dyes and the perms and things like that people want. Okay, so here we go. We've got this top one cut like a little smaller pom-pom. So there's that. Look at how shiny this is. Isn't that pretty? And then here we've got the bottom that's cut like a bigger pom-pom. So I'm going to, see, we could, just for kicks here, we could take and we could just leave this one just like this and just put that in the middle of it and call it a day. And it would be fine. I didn't put any glue on the edges of this, and I do want to do that. I do like to have those edges pressed together. And let's get this one. And the sad thing was that my first mother-in-law, she had a couple of girls in her shop that actually did my hair a couple of times, and I would always be so happy when they would do it because I always knew they were going to cut it exactly how I wanted it. So yeah, it was hard. I never wanted to hurt her feelings, so I never did. I never said anything or, you know, anything like that. There was no way I would do that because she was the sweetest lady. I just didn't care for the haircuts that I was getting, so I had to I finally pretty much just stopped going in and getting my hair cut, and she realized I was doing it myself, and she used to just tell me, your hair looks great, you're doing such a great job, I love it, you know, and she didn't want me to feel bad any more than I wanted her to feel bad. She didn't want me to feel bad for wanting to cut it myself, because I think she knew kind of how I felt about it without saying. So here I'm just sort of evening out the sections. That's all I'm doing. Pulling the bottom layers in with the top. And it's making it a little less wide. A lot less wide. Yeah, this was a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. Here I thought I was doing this great thing. Yeah, we're going to find a different kind of flower to make out of this chiffon though, because it's going to make some pretty flowers. And I think what I'll probably do is I've got some little loopy flowers that I'm making now. And I think that's what I'll use that for, because they will be gorgeous with this shimmery ivory. Gorgeous, gorgeous flowers. I don't know if I have any of those nearby me here right now. I might be able to show you what I'm talking about, but I'm not sure. Well, I don't see any in my bag. Sorry, you guys. I was hoping I could show you what I meant. Okay, so now we've got to get the top taken care of on this, and I'm just going to kind of separate this all out and sort of flatten it right there. And in fact, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and put a little glue in the center between these two layers, so that I can press it together a little bit more, and so that it's not so poofy and so thick. I think that's what I need to do. Definitely better, but this side is definitely longer. So you definitely want to make sure that your sides are even and all of that. Okay, so there we go. This is going to be a very pretty flower, you guys. It's just way too much work for what I'm getting out of it. So I think what we'll do is we'll just use a simple, again, another simple center, but I want it to definitely be big enough to show. Do we want to go with a pink center in this one? It actually looks really pretty with that pink. I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to use, let's see. I'm looking here just to make sure. I've got another, where did I just see that? Oh no, that won't work. It's on a bow. Never mind. I've got a couple of other little bits. That's kind of pretty. Little bits over here that maybe, I'm just going to check them out and see if maybe they might be good centers. This is the kind of flowers I'm talking about, the little loopy ones. This is a velvet one that I did. Isn't that pretty? But I want to do some more of these in some different fabrics. And I think that would be really pretty with this fabric. Initially I was going to use this as the center for this one, but I think now it's just too big for the flower. Yeah, it just is too much. That's kind of pretty. Let's see, let's see. I think this is going to do the best for this particular flower. It's not too big, it's not too little, and it gives a little bit of dimension to the top as well. And I can press down really hard on it and hopefully get sort of the center pressed together. Okay, so there we go. There's that. I've cut all these little pieces, and because this is silicone, they just don't even want to come up off this mat. It's like stuck like glue. You have to get something wet when you're trying to get stuff like this off of these mats. You just need a damp cloth and it'll come right off. But let's go ahead really quick and make, oh gosh, let's make a leaf. Okay. And we're going to take this. This is again in that sage green. We're just going to take it and round these edges, fold it in half, cut these corners just like that. It's not perfect, doesn't need to be, because we're going to melt this. And you don't have to melt this. This is where I said you didn't need to burn anything, but to do this you do. Oh, my puppy's out there. I can hear her whimpering. She's having a bad dream. And I'm trying not to make this curl too much, but in a couple of spots it's curled pretty good, so oh well, that's all right. It's easier to do this over the top of a candle so I can hold it with two hands. This way I'm trying to hold it with one hand and control it, and that's not so easy all the time. So anyway, there we go. Good enough. And again, we're going to take it down the center. And let me see. That's not going to fit. Here, I've got a little pink piece of ribbon here. That's fine. That'll work. Okay. Okay, that's good enough. Again, with the leaves, you don't have to worry too much. And I'm not worried about this pink because we're going to be covering that anyway. So that is just fine by me. And I'm just bending this over so that the fancier side, which is this side, is facing the top of the flower. So we're going to put those two leaves together just like that. And then again, I'm going to take in the middle here and just put a little dot on each side just to narrow out those leaves a little bit. Just like that. And they're not perfectly shaped leaves. That's okay. It's supposed to be sort of whimsy and not, these are not realistic flowers by any sense of the word. But pretty nonetheless, and part of the charm of it, I think, is that it's not, everything's not like perfectly balanced. And I am not obviously a perfectly balanced person when it comes to, you know, all of my crafting and stuff. I guess you could say I'm the kind of person that likes rounded edges instead of squared edges, and you know, I'm different that way than a lot of people. And we're gonna go like this and position that where we want it, and there we go. And I feel like on this one, I feel like I want them a little bit thinner, narrower, so I'm just going to add a little more glue and pinch those together again. And add a little more glue and pinch it together. And that way I'm just getting a less wide leaf. And I like it that way. So there we go. There's our leaf. And let's cut out our round piece for the bottom. And this one needs to be smaller than the last one since this is a smaller flower. And I'm just quickly cutting out that felt circle and rounding it out a little bit. And that should be okay. There we go. And let's just put our glue on there. Pop it in the center. Just like that. And there we have it, you guys. We have a beautiful ivory, little ivory flower. And I feel like right here, like I feel like I want to just kind of cut some slices into this very top area so it can separate and be free. A little bit more free flowing because, like I said, this fabric is not as soft as the other. And we're just going to kind of go around the whole thing. And it tends to be very stiff. It wants to be very stiff. And so I want it to have a little bit more freedom to do what it wants to do. Okay. There we go. So now let's get our other two. This is the first one that I had done before I did the video. And this is the second one that I did during the video. The first one I did in the video. And there's my third one. And aren't they adorable? I can cut this off now, I suppose. There we go. And we'll put that one that way. there we go. So that's it, you guys. Super cute, super fun, and super easy. And just like that, I have these 3 beautiful flowers that I can use in just about any project, and they're going to look great. I think I showed you guys these. These are the other ones that I recently did. I had bought this chiffon at the store the other day. I bought the pale pink and the wine color. And then I bought this color here, which is absolutely gorgeous. And it's a shimmery, shimmery chiffon. And it is super pretty too. This one, I had 2 of them. Dog got a hold of the second one today, chewed it up. So once again, I lost another piece due to my beautiful, beautiful Holly Mae. So I didn't get mad at her. It wasn't her fault. I was carrying it and I didn't realize I had dropped it and left it sitting in the middle of the floor. And she got it and had it outside before I knew it. And I don't even know where the centerpiece of that flower is. I haven't seen it. So hopefully I'll find that, because I think it's one of these porcelain roses. So I'm hoping I'll find that on the floor somewhere and be able to save it. So anyways, you guys, that's it. Thanks a lot for watching. Thanks for listening to my stories and making my day. And thank you for being so amazing. I love you all. I thank you for subscribing to my channel, those of you who have subscribed. And to my newbies, I hope you'll consider subscribing and catching some more of my videos on some of these great projects that we do here. We've got a great, great, great group of people. Everybody is, you know, a lot of this group is people that are friendly with each other already and have made friends through the channel. And we have a lot of fun. So we would love for you to join our happy little group here. Everybody take it easy. God bless you all. Be safe, be well, love your family, stay amazing, because you're all amazing. I love you all. God bless. Bye-bye.